on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM or the VTRN Sports app. Open VTRN Sports on your smart speaker or stream live on YouTube. Time to get ready for your day with the morning warm-up with Trey, Lyle, and Ty Tracy.
Good. 7:03 on this Wednesday. I wish it was Wednesday. Monday, March 24th. Oh, we're playing. Something's playing. Can you turn the PC off? Sorry, we're having Monday technical issues because I forgot to turn something off as I was setting up for today. UVA's got a coach. NC State's got a coach. Texas might have a coach soon. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about, obviously, the entire NCAA tournament as we have the Sweet 16. We will update you on the scoreboard. I haven't even looked at where I'm positioned on the scoreboard because I just think my bracket is sucking right now. But, yeah, as I'm in last place. I'm not. Cool.
Well, actually, you don't have
to want to guess who's in last place?
You don't have to feel bad because Brian Nolan's out because he picked St. John's to win
the
whole thing.
He is. But Kale Weisinger is in last place. So that makes me feel good inside. Bryson Gordon is actually in first.
I know me and him been swinging at it this whole weekend and everything.
So no, he might be actually depressed because his UNC Tar Heels are out of the NCAA tournament, and NC State's got their new head coach. We'll see. All right, let's get into in case you missed it.
Keeping up with sports 24/7 takes some serious effort, especially when you're sleeping. Don't worry, the morning warm-up stays alert around the clock. Now here is everything you missed last night.
And over the weekend, of course. So no real NFL news to break. Nothing insane happened. United States soccer team is still in flux because they lost both to Panama and Mexico and Canada in the Nations League. I know a lot of soccer fans listen, but let's get to the NBA scores and then we'll go deep into the NCAA tournament. Heat win 122-105 over the Hornets. Andrew Wiggins actually dropped 42. Shocked. As for the Hornets, 18-53, baby. Capture the flag. I think that's a really good. That's the tanking monitor. Capture the flag.
I like that motto.
Slogan. We'll talk about the flag guy in a second. Pistons 40 and 32 on the season. They defeat the Pelicans 136-130. Cavs bounce back after losing 4 straight. They defeat the Jazz 120-91. Hawks beat the Sixers 132-119. Ed, hope your Sixers can capture the flag. Speaking of capture the flag, team Spurs 123, Raptors 89, Celtics 129, Trailblazers 116, Nuggets beat the Rockets 116-111, and the Thunder get their 59th win of the season. They would probably win 60 games. They defeat the Clippers 103-101. As now we look at the standings right now, nothing really updated in the East. Cleveland's going to be the 1. Boston's going to be the 2. The Knicks are going to be the 3. It's the 4, 5, 6 where it's really up for debate. And then maybe the order of the playing teams. As for the West, it's way more spread out as still 2.5 games separate second through fourth. If you want to throw in another half game or 2 games separate second through fourth, 2.5 games separate 2 through 5. And Rockets, Nuggets, Lakers are the 2, 3, 4 right now. Thunder are the 1 seed currently, and LeBron is back for the Lakers. He played on Saturday in their loss to the Bulls. All right, let's get to the NCAA tournament before we get to the coaching news, which we'll focus more on in the second segment. Then we'll do today's sports history in the last. So I'm just going to run through all the second round scores because there's no point in running through all the first round scores. But we will go over Liberty's game specifically as that happened since we last visited. We'll start with that. Liberty Falls 81-52. And frankly, a game they were never in. Tied. Unfortunately for them, it just started off bad and it really never got better. 11-2 run to start the game, or excuse me, 18-2 run to start the game. It was at one point 27-8. At halftime, it was 44-20.
I mean, did you really think this was going to beat Oregon? I don't know what people was thinking.
I didn't think they were going to win. I thought they was going to keep it close. So, and the women lost. We should mention that as well. That happened on Friday. They lost 78-76 in a really good game.
Yeah.
They were down 17 at one point and fought back. And they, like I said on Friday, I thought they were going to cover. And, actually, ironically, Kentucky goes on to lose to Kansas State in overtime.
Yeah.
So Georgia Amore's career is done. But the glaring stat, and this was it, 8 of 37 from 3. And Robbie Hummel, who's doing the broadcast, the TV broadcast, was highlighting a really good point here. Liberty, they needed to shoot 37 threes, but they needed to make like 15, 16, 17 of them to win. And they just didn't. It seemed like they used all. I jokingly tweeted to Bryson Gordon, like, looks like they used all their threes up in the Conference USA tournament where Cade Matheny went off. But they just didn't shoot like, I don't know if Oregon necessarily outplayed them, but when you shoot 32%, 21% from 3, they forced Oregon into 14 turnovers. You get out-rebounded by nearly 20, though.
Yeah.
The size of Oregon in the interior and the fact that the ball was not falling in the basket just really, really cost Liberty.
Yeah.
And we'll talk more about this throughout the week, and especially when we get Bryson on. I was texting with a very angry Liberty fan. I won't mention his name, but he might be last in our bracket pool right now. And he was very upset. He's like, this is embarrassing. Hopefully he's not upset I'm using that. And I said it shouldn't be embarrassing. I mean, it's the NCAA tournament. Basically, you were the this was a very chalky tournament. It was the first time since 2008 that no 13, 14, or 15 seed advanced or 16 seed advanced. There was 2 5/12 upsets, and all the magic of the 5-12 already kind of ran out, and you got beat by a better team. Oregon was a better team. Oregon's playing good basketball. They just, granted, they lost to Arizona.
Yeah.
But Caleb Love went off in that game, and we'll mention that game in a second. But
it wasn't a chokehold.
Yeah, it's just, I think for Liberty, yes, you would love to win in the NCAA tournament, but you accomplished what you set out. You won the Conference USA tournament. You also want to, you're 28-7. You had a really good year.
And once you take it to make to the big dance.
I think you proved that you can make this step up to Conference USA. You're playing in a top 10 league now, and it took you 2 years to adjust to that. And I think, do you want to? There are natural steps to this, and I think Rich McKay did a really, really good job this year and built a really good team. And Oregon shot the ball well, and you just had a bad shooting night. And sometimes in the tournament you have bad shooting nights, and ultimately tonight I think that's what happened. Oregon got up on them because Liberty was not making shots. And by the time Liberty really settled in the game, granted they didn't really settle in the game, it was just way too late.
Yeah, definitely. I just feel like, I knew this was what happened. Depth and size is going to kill them, especially size, and you just can't do nothing about that. So I just feel like next season, hopefully they'll get some more big guys that probably can help them out a lot, especially in the depth as well.
Yeah, and John Manson of SteelRed.com will join the fast lane later today. I will be there, but I think TJ or Philip and Ty.
I'm right here.
I won't be there, and or Philip will be there running the board. So tune in for that. But yeah, I think for the men and women, and the women probably are a little more like we could have gotten it because they did have a look late. That you have to give them a lot of credit for winning the conference this year. They won the regular season and postseason in the conference in both leagues, and they had a really good year, a really, really good year. Sometimes you fall short, and sometimes you just don't shoot the ball well.
Definitely. It's just all about timing as well.
It's a one-game tournament for a reason. Like, and it's not like and a lot of chalk happened in the NCAA tournament. We'll get to it in a second.
I thought that was a game they won right there too, as well, because they knew they had it in their hands, especially playing against Kentucky as well.
Yeah, on the women's side.
Yes, they knew a team they should have they had right there in the ropes.
They played, and they're they're a younger team. They have a lot of freshmen on that team that contributed this year. So I think the Liberty women's team is going to be pretty dangerous. All right, for the rest of the men's scores, Auburn beat Trey 82-70. Michigan defeated Texas A&M 91-79.
Michigan.
Ole Miss yesterday defeated Iowa State 91-78. Michigan State advances to the Sweet 16. They defeated New Mexico 71-63 in what was a really good game. Florida has knocked out the two-time defending champs.
Reed scoops it for Diarra into the front court with 2 seconds to go to McNeely, a three at the horn. That's good, but Florida is the team to pierce the NCAA tournament force field. That is Connecticut. The two-time defending champs go down 77-75, and the Gators head to the Sweet 16.
Jason Benetti from Westwood 1 gets it done. I mean, Florida's really good. UConn, that was a really good game.
I think that was probably like the matchmaker between UConn and Florida. I feel like if one to win, they was going to make it to the Final Four because UConn really had like a up and down season, and they fought back, and they was playing so good. I just knew between them two, I said, whoever won this thing, they're going to the Final Four.
I agree with you. So as someone who picked Florida to win the national championship, I thought their toughest test to get to the national championship, because I think if they play Duke in the national championship, which we'll get to Duke in a second, that's their toughest test. I thought their toughest game, just because it's UConn, and they like UConn in 18. Yes, they had a disappointing season, but they still have the talent. And they have the championship DNA of a team that's won. And it proved it in this game that they won back-to-back national championships.
It was crazy. They had like an up and down season as well. Like they won't rank at one point, but they fought their way back to get ranked and put themselves back in the picture for the NCAA tournament. So I feel like that was like, this is going to be a good run between either one, whoever won this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to put in perspective how, like, this is the same distance every back-to-back champ. I think it was the great David Teal, which I'll shout him out in a second. Yes. So back-to-back champs in year 3. Duke in 92-93 lost in the second round. Florida in 07-08 lost in the NIT semis, which that's we're back to our NIT NCAA tournament debate. And then UConn lost in the second round. Like, UConn played a game as well as you could from them. Dude, Walter Clayton Jr., man, is a dude. Like, his 23 points, he was insane late in that game. He pulled it out for Florida.
Yeah.
Since Florida is so good because they have 3 really good guards that can defend well. Florida put the clamps on UConn late in that game. They frustrated them, and they win. It was a fun game. I think it was the best game of the tournament.
Yeah.
I think because of just how it felt like how good basketball was played right there. So Florida gets to win 77-75. And we're going to get to the team they'll play last because the moment of the tournament happened in the game they'll play in the Sweet 16 in a second. Texas Tech beats Drake 77-64. And good old Coach Calipari gets one up on his old rival, Mr. Rick Pitino. Arkansas started 0-5 in SEC play. They're one of 7 SEC teams to get to the Sweet 16 as they defeat St. John's 75-66. And also, that was a fun game to watch on Saturday. That is your the left side of the bracket. So that's your South and West region. That's for the Midwest region. Purdue defeated McNeese 76-62. That allowed NC State to make a nice announcement. The game in a game where Houston just kind of grinded it out, 81-76 over Gonzaga. I think that was I picked Gonzaga to win originally, and I still feel good about that. They played well in that game, but that was a really nice win from Houston over the Zags. Tennessee 67, UCLA 58, Kentucky 84, Illinois 75, setting up a matchup between those two teams in the Sweet 16. So an SEC matchup, and then obviously Houston-Purdue. That's your Midwest Sweet 16. And for the East region, Alabama 80, St. Mary's 66 in a dominant game. And in, I think, also a great game, it went down to the final play.
BYU, it says on the board no timeouts. On the scorebook, it says one timeout. We're going to go with none right now. Inbound comes to Tanjay. Tanjay will bring it up with 10 seconds. Tanjay across the timeline with 8. Tanjay stands middle of the floor. Drives right side against Mawat Mag with 4 seconds. Forcing up a tough fadeaway jumper. It won't go. Caught by Keita, and that'll do it. For the first time since 2011, BYU is through to the Sweet 16. They hang on 91-89. BYU wins it, eliminating Wisconsin.
John Tanjay had 37 points in this game. Yeah, and ultimately his shot falls short against BYU is for 39. BYU advances to the Sweet 16, 91-89 over Wisconsin. They'll take on, as mentioned, Alabama. And a fun game that was last night that you actually might have been asleep for. Someone here may have been. Caleb Love had a big game and sets up an intriguing matchup. They defeated Oregon 87-83. It sets up an intriguing matchup. Caleb Love gets to try to vanquish the Duke Blue Devils one more time. But before that, Duke got a dominant win over Baylor not because of Cooper Flag, which he played well, but because of the guy who's maybe been the hottest player in the NCAA tournament.
Mm-hmm. Proctor, by the way, came in having 6 threes in back-to-back games. Now Knippel on the hunt. Zip it left. Proctor shot fake. Step aside. 3 in the air again. Oh, my goodness gracious. He knocked another one down. Tyrese Proctor cannot miss. 79-56. Duke the lead, 4:40 to go. 3 straight games now with Let's Go Duke ringing out. Tyrese Proctor has 6 threes, make it 12 of 15 from 3. It feels like he's 20 for 20, but 12 of 15 here in this sub-regional.
Tyrese Proctor, 25 points in this one. He joins his head coach in John Shire, which that was actually a theme this weekend, is how good John Shire was as a basketball player because of Patrick Beverly shouting him out, calling him the White Mike because of how good he was in Chicago. Which actually, if you look at how John Shire basketball career got short, he basically became blinded in one eye.
Mm-hmm.
But you know how I mentioned Cooper Flag wasn't that great, or wasn't, was fine.
Yeah,
his fine was 18, 9, and 6.
Yeah,
he was fine.
Yeah, he was fine. Right.
He was fine.
Right. He was fine. He was just
Johnny Boom, you're great, man. You're great. Auburn's the number 1 overall team, but I can't hear an argument that he's not the best player in the country. All right, that sets up a meeting with Arizona, and of course, Caleb Love, the man who's vanquished Duke multiple times. And this is a rematch from a game earlier this season. They played earlier in this season where Duke won 69-55 out in Arizona, but Caleb Love gets his one more chance to eliminate Duke and crush the soul of Duke fans. But we're going to end with best nickname in college basketball right now is the Crab 5. It's the starting 5 for the Maryland Terrapins. They were taking on Colorado State in a fun game.
That was a good game too. That was definitely
and Derek Queen, their star freshman, just decided to say, "Let's go home."
Gillespie looking to throw it in. Gets it up top to Queen. Dribbling left. Big step down the lane. Runner for the win. Banked it in! He banked it in! He banked it in! And Maryland has won! Maryland is going to the Sweet 16! Derek Queen with a runner left of the lane, banked it in. And for the first time since 2016, the Maryland Terrapins are going to the Sweet 16.
The Maryland Terrapins lost their last 4 games in the final 10 seconds, and they were about to do it again. But Derek Queen said, no, Crab 5 till I die. Crab 5 advanced to the Final Four, or not to the Final Four. They could. They're a really good team. They advanced to the Sweet 16 where they'll take on Florida. And obviously, former Virginia Tech coach transferred Rodney Wright's part of that group as well. He got some shine in that game. But Derek Queen, man. Kevin Willard was post-game press conference talking about how he wants more money for his program. Well, and Derek Queen talking about like how he got paid post-game. But they're a very real team, but they're also a fun team. He's like, the best quote was Kevin Willard gets interviewed about post-game, and he's like, Derek said I wanted the MF and ball, but he didn't say he said the long way. And when asked about it, he said, I'm from Baltimore. And I said, and as someone who's been to Baltimore very few times, a lot in his life, because of medical procedures and things like that. He was intern in Baltimore. That works. Yeah, I mean, what a win for Maryland. What a fun game. We finally got this tournament has been underwhelming to say the least. Yeah. And it's because, and honestly, this could, and I'm not going to say, is this indicative of the future? We're going to have tournaments with craziness. I mean, NIL was here last year. We had a crazy tournament last year. But I think what we're going to get is really good Sweet 16s and Elite 8s with good teams that are deep. And as time goes on, because yes, the talent is getting more spread, but it's because it's getting more spread to the top teams, kind of like what we see in football, where this star but you're still going to get your star moments, your Jack Goldkeys of the world, even Steph Curry, which, granted, I think Steph Curry is very different than Jack Goldkey because Steph Curry became, Steph Curry. They're still going to have those moments, but what would happen is in this era, Steph would have had that first tournament run with Davidson. Everyone would have known about him, because by the time he had the second run where they took Davidson to the Elite Eight, everyone knew about Steph. Like LeBron went to a game, like everyone knew he would have transferred to a different school by the time. Like he would have been at Duke or something.
Compared to his brother.
Yeah. Well, ironically, his brother did transfer to Duke. He started at Liberty and then transferred to Duke.
Yeah.
Ironically. But it's setting up. I mean, just to put in perspective, all the spreads in these games, the highest spread of the Sweet 16 games as they're set is 9.5, and that's Duke. So we're in for some fun basketball at the end of this week in the Sweet 16 and in the Elite 8. Shout out to the Big 10 and the Big 12. I think the Big 12 was like 9-1. They're only, it might have changed. It's like their only loss has been Kansas, which I think has changed as I look through it. No, I think it's not, because BYU won. Oh, Baylor lost. So they've lost 2. The SEC actually has 7 teams in the Sweet 16. So that's, they make up almost half the Sweet 16.
Mm-hmm.
The Big 10 has had a good tournament. It faded a little bit in the second round, but they started 10-0. Duke's carrying the flag for the ACC, though. So let's go Duke. Let's go Duke. All right. We're technically still in case you missed it. So I'm just going to run through these hits, and we're going to come back and kind of dive deep into them. Ryan Odom, not shockingly, is officially announced as the head coach of UVA. I think the most interesting part of this is that Griff Ultrich, who's the head coach at Longwood, who's taken that team to the NCAA tournament a couple of times, is actually leaving Longwood and becoming their associate head coach. Longwood is promoting one of their longtime assistants from within. And then I'm purposely doing this on this order. So it gets announced about like 10 a.m. yesterday. Rodney Terry is going to be fired at Texas. Not even 20 minutes later, NC State makes sure the Will Wade announcement is out. Do I think those are correlated? Yes. Will NC State admit that? No. And then, of course, probably what was going to happen all along, we kind of recklessly speculated. It was quickly revealed because Xavier did lose in the first round that Sean Miller was the top candidate, which a note about Sean Miller, of course, the longtime head coach at Arizona, the FBI thing, ironically, same thing that Will Wade got caught in, Sean Miller got caught in, and his time in Arizona kind of faded. So he left Arizona. He's done a lot of great work with Xavier. And he's going to have all the resources he wants at Texas. He was the top candidate. Obviously, Chris Beard got fired because of the legal trouble, we'll just put it that way, he got into. And Rodney Terry was the interim head coach that year. And Rodney Terry actually took, which was a really good team. Like, I remember picking that Texas team actually to win the national championship to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And so they had to keep him. So they give him the extension. He gets 2 more years. He gets fired because of one and done in the NCAA tournament. And Sean Miller is going to be the replacement. But it was funny that, like, literally right after the Texas, like, the Rodney Terry reports are out that he's out of Texas, the Wade announcement comes in. Because they waited. I mean, granted, he got eliminated, what was it, for Saturday. So then they announced it on Sunday. So it's not like they could have waited till today, but they didn't. So we're going to talk more about that after this break. And then we'll come back. We'll talk about that. We still got today's sports history. But I have some nuggets I want to talk about when it comes to Ryan Otis, specifically at UVA. And I think the same thing goes for Will Wade. Not much about Sean Miller. Sean Miller will have resources, but I can guarantee you that. And Sean Miller's a really good basketball coach. Look at what he did at Arizona. He just needs to get to that Final Four. So that's kind of the only thing that alluded to him at Arizona. And I don't count those last couple of years at Arizona because of the FBI stuff. And I think just it was doomed from there. So when we come back, diving deep into the coaching changes in the Atlantic Coast Conference, you're listening to the Morning Warm-Up on BTRN Sports. This is the bottom of the hour, 7:30.
We're here with Colt from We Fix Stupid Computers. Colt, go along with your residential or individual walk-in services that you offer. You also do a lot of business IT support. Specifically, do you do businesses in the area?
We see a lot of that. Medium-sized businesses, they still have their IT projects. They still need resources to help them within their office and for remote users. And so we'll step in and fill in the gap where we do a lot of projects for them, help them manage their resources, their budgets, and get their technology under control.
Colt, how can these people reach out to you to assess their IT needs?
Call us. Our number is 434-525-8590. Our website, wefixstupidcomputer.com. We're on Facebook. And our office is here locally, 14690 Forest Road, right next to Scott's Cabinet on 221.
Mark Dalton here with Terry Subaru. Love to drive? Then you'll love the all-new 2025 Subaru Wilderness family. These cars are built for adventure with symmetrical all-wheel drive, rugged capability, and Subaru reliability. These stylish vehicles are ready for anything. Plus, every new Subaru we sell comes with an exclusive Terry Promise, a lifetime powertrain warranty. Visit us on Forest Road in Lynchburg or browse our inventory online 24/7 at terrysubaru.com. Terry Subaru. You'll love our cars.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living magazine, you want to hire the best. Sullivan Plumbing wants the best plumbers to join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record? Do you have at least 4 years plumbing experience? Then you're a fighter to recruit, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you.
It's like every other year. Like,
call Sullivan.
1 year out of the bracket, next year out of 4.
Email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
God damn it. Oh, that was next year.
Guests are great, except unwanted guests. At Specialty Exterminating, we know the difference. Hi, I'm Sabrina Kennan with Specialty Exterminating. We help you keep unwanted pests out of your home. Now we can keep those reptiles away. Our new reptile repellent is the perfect add-on for your pest prevention service. It's pet and people safe, so it's perfect for any homeowner, especially pool owners and homes in wooded and rural areas. Call us so we can repel the reptiles. Specialty Exterminating, your pest prevention partner since 1979.
Join the Lynchburg Hillcats at Bank of the James Stadium this summer for any of your favorite nightly promotions. New this year are Senior Sluggers Tuesdays, where members of the Silver Sluggers Club get in free, and College Pride Night, where those wearing college apparel receive a discounted ticket on Wednesdays. As always, we'll have Thirsty Thursdays and giveaways and fireworks on the weekend, and free admission for Kids Club members on Sunday. Get your tickets today at lynchburg-hillcats.com.
Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where life happens. And at Right Choice Construction, we get that. We're not just builders. We're fathers, mothers, neighbors, just like you. And every nail and every beam reflects our commitment to creating a place you're proud to live in. With Right Choice Construction, you're choosing a team that's been perfecting the art of building for years. So build with us. Build with experience. Build with quality. Build with Right Choice.
Hey, gang, this is Bud Foster, former defensive coordinator for the Virginia Tech Hokies. Join me for Foster and Friends, Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m. on VTRN Sports 93.3 FM.
Good morning. We are just getting your thing started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected with the show at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app, or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:34 on this Monday, March 24th. Trey Lyle, Ty Tracy. This is the morning warm-up. Here to get you updated. Do want to add a note. We'll talk more about this throughout the week. NASCAR, Kyle Larson nearly completes. I'm going to call it the Kyle Busch sweep, where he sweeps all three races on the weekend. He falls short in the Xfinity Series race after being the dominant car. Kyle Larson got the win on Sunday in the Cup Series. Alex Bowman second. Bubba Wallace third. Chase Briscoe fourth. Denny Hamlin fifth. Setting up a scenario where Hendrick Motorsports, 2311, and Joe Gibbs Racing occupy the top 8 spots in points currently in the NASCAR Cup Series. If you want a full recap of the race in about 10 minutes, listen to the latest episode of Stock Car Scoop on the Front Stretch Podcast Network, hosted by me, filling in for Caleb Barnes, who's on a boat right now.
On a boat?
He's on a cruise.
I know. On a cruise, on a boat.
Sorry, every time I say I'm on a boat, I think of my mom's favorite song, which is I'm on a Boat That Day by Old Dominion. And so the stupid song, I should say stupid on the air, gets stuck in my head, but I'm not going to mention. All right. Ryan Odom is now officially the head coach. And guess what? So they make a montage of his accomplishments. They did not bury, I will give UVA credit. I purposely read the announcement. They did not bury the UNBC thing that he upset Virginia. So credit to him. So, Ty.
I'll listen.
CBS Sports Matt Norlander broke it down, and this is how the deal came together.
Odom has done a wonderful job in recent seasons, from UMBC to Utah State to VCU and now to Virginia. It's been a rapid ascension for him over the past 7 seasons. Carries a very good reputation in college basketball. There's no question about that whatsoever. And he was the guy, just to be clear on this. You know, as things went along here over the past couple of weeks, Virginia essentially got it down to Odom. And I think there was an understanding there privately, quietly, very quietly for a while. But there were no other candidates that Virginia was considering over the past 2 weeks, according to my sources, for this vacancy. And so the school will make it official on Saturday. And then I'm told the press conference will be held at John Paul Jones Arena on Monday.
Yeah, no shocking there. Ryan Odom, I think from Jerry Ratcliffe being on, from everything I've read, for everything I think people I've talked to, we're going to try to get Casey Passalia on this week from Virginia Game Day to talk about the hire. So, Ty, your initial thoughts. Odom obviously takes VCU this year. They were the best team in the A-10. They were a really good team this year.
Yeah.
They kind of, again, similar to Liberty. Obviously, BYU, now in the Sweet 16, it looks even better of a loss, but they just kind of couldn't hit shots against BYU. And BYU played really well against them, breaking their zone, breaking their press zone.
I still feel like VCU was a better team than BYU because I had a lot of confidence in VCU.
I wouldn't go that far.
Well,
BYU is in the Sweet 16.
I know, but also I thought in my eyes, I thought they were when they first match up with them and everything, and especially how VCU been playing all season. I was like, okay, I can see VCU making a deep run to the Sweet 16. I really had a lot of confidence in them.
I used in the Elite Eight.
That too, I didn't have an Elite Eight, but it was like that's why I feel like the way they've been playing all season. I was like, VCU has really been playing good. I just feel like with Ryan Odom at UVA, I think this is a great hire for UVA. They definitely need to change their turnaround. It just that last minute, it was like they were still lost. They was struggling. They don't know what to do, and they just feel like Ron Sanchez won't want it.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about this. I don't want to view the end of this year for UVA or this season as an indictment on Ron Sanchez.
And it's not his fault either. I always say it's not his fault.
It's not like, last season with Tony Bennett was a great one. They've been going down a little bit, and it's partially because Tony Bennett didn't want to embrace the new era of college basketball. I mean, I think that's a big reason, and Ryan Odom has. So I just think that's a big part of it. And Ryan Odom, obviously, his dad coached at UVA. He coached under Seth Greenberg at Virginia Tech. Obviously, we know what happened at UMBC. He went to Utah State for 2 years. Then, obviously, he went back to VCU, which Utah State to VCU, probably a lateral move. Because, look at Utah State. They played the tournament the last couple of years. They were really good this year in the Mountain West.
Yeah.
So, but he wanted to get back to Virginia. And he's taking, I think, a position. So, and I'm going to say the same thing about Will Wade. So if you want to talk about Will Wade at NC State, it's good for the ACC that you could argue the two big candidates were Ryan Odom and Will Wade, especially Will Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the head coach from Drake is another one, which he might get the Iowa job, which Drake was fun to watch. But two of the top available candidates were Ryan Odom and Will Wade. And the one thing that the ACC needed was young, good coaches. You have John Shire, and that's really it. Hubert Davis, you need to see. You look at Steve Forbes. Hasn't really worked out yet at Wake Forest. Mike Young. Mike Young is a really good basketball coach, but will he get the investment he needs? So apparently this year he will. We'll see. But Mike Young is not young, which he might argue with me about that. But he's not, he might. But my point being, if you look at the SEC, they have a lot of good young coaches. Throw out Bruce Pearl, Nate Yost. And again, I'm going to be clear here as a coach, Chris Beard, Mark Byington. You look at, obviously they have stalwarts in Cal, Rick Barnes, and Bruce Pearl, but then Mark Pope, young coach of Kentucky.
I ask this one question. Do you think it's the right move they're doing hiring young coaches to understand, because they understand what's going on, what's changing?
Well, I just think college basketball. I think they were naturally going to get younger because of this era. I think this era is going to tend toward your younger coaches.
And I got NIL deals and everything, and they know how to translate and stuff. Except for John Calipari, he was ahead. I think he was ahead at the time.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think a big reason for the dip in the ACC is that within a 3-year span, essentially, you lost probably 6 of the best coaches, at least in Roy Williams, Coach K, John B. Oh my God, what is his name? Syracuse coach.
Jim
Boeheim. Jim Boeheim. Mike, thank you. You lost Jim Boeheim. Then the fail, Patino leaving the ACC, and I think him getting fired and Louisville not being able to find his replacement. You look at Coach K, Tony Bennett leaves. Oh, I forgot to throw in Buzz Williams for the SEC young coaches, but whip-de-dee. Don't care. But my point being that you needed an infusion of coaching talent back in the ACC because these guys who come in, whether Hubert Davis has been hit or miss. I think John Shire's been great. Like John Shire is the best case scenario of following the guy after the guy, especially when it's Coach K. Especially this year, because he might end up winning a national championship. Oh, Todd Golden at Florida. I forgot about him, by the way. Like pick Florida to win the national title. But my point being that, yes, that a money infusion and a talent infusion need to become the ACC, but I think a coaching infusion needed to come to the ACC. It felt like coaching had dipped because you either had a good coach with no investment, like a Virginia Tech, or you had somewhat investment and maybe not great coaches. Like Pat Kelsey coming to the ACC is going to be huge. Look what he did with Louisville. Brad Brownell staying in the ACC. That's going to be huge for them. I like Steve Forbes. I think hopefully he can get it going at Wake Forest. But we'll see what happens at Syracuse. We'll see what happens at Notre Dame with the former Penn State head coach. Like there are now younger coaches who have shown talent. Can they prove it? And Ryan Odom is one of those. So back to my point. Ultimately, with this Will Wade hire and I think both the Will Wade and the Ryan Odom hire, because both guys are really smart. Ryan Odom could easily be the head coach of Villanova right now because he could.
Yeah.
Because his name was linked to that too. And I know for a fact Villanova would pay the right investment into basketball because they are a basketball school. They play FCS football. Like they will, but he's going to Virginia knowing they're getting the needed investment they need. That's what I wanted. This is what I want to see for Virginia and NC State. NC State for a fact had to show that, hey, we're going to invest in this. Like Will Wade would have not left McNeese. He would have taken the Texas job because trust me, I think he would have gotten the Texas job if he could, or another insert SEC job. And without investment. So here's before we get to your point, Ty. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
Matt Norlander touched on what Virginia is doing from an investment side.
You know, this information is sourced going back months, but Virginia, between NIL fundraising and expected revenue sharing, I mean, it is anticipating to have a massive, massive leap in its financial war chest, north of $7 million all told. And that is a very drastically different situation than what Tony Bennett had when he opted to retire. So the ACC is also down. As we speak, we are going to have a second round of the NCAA tournament, and the ACC will have one team left. That is, of course, Duke. And that has not been the case since the tournament expanded to 32 teams in 1975. So the entry point is as low as it could possibly be in the ACC. And if Odom is as good as Virginia thinks he is, then he's going to have that program back in the NCAA tournament no later than 2027.
Yeah, so you mentioned that. So Matt Norlander talked about year 2 is the key year. And honestly, you should have some expectations in year 1, but year 2, just to put in perspective, this is from, of course, the GOAT, David Teal. Year 2 at UNBC, NCAA tournament. Year 2 at Utah State, NCAA tournament. Year 2 at VCU, NCAA tournament. Ty, the pressure is going to be to win now. And they have talent. And
they just got really high expectations over there.
And they should. They've won an actual championship in 2019. So, Ty, your thoughts on hearing that report, hearing the investment. How do you feel about it? Seems that Virginia has made a course correction when it comes to, I think they relied too much on Tony Bennett being he's such a good coach. I think Tony Bennett got the most out of this UVA team these last couple of years, but it's the same thing at Virginia Tech. Mike Young got the most out of this Virginia Tech team. But at the end of the day, you gotta have dudes.
Yes, they They need players that can close out the game, who can make a big impact, who can carry the team when you need at the biggest moments. And UVA didn't have that for a while since 2019.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. That 2019 team has two guys. One of them guys was an assistant on the staff this year in Kyle Guy, but played minutes in the NBA. and 2 of their starters. Let me check the notes. Oh yeah, they're playing on maybe the best team in the NBA, considerable minutes in the Cleveland Cavaliers, and Ty Jerome might be the 6th man of the year. Like they have NBA players on their team. I don't know if this Virginia team has NBA players or a depth of NBA players, and it's going to be interesting. Ryan Odom, I think the fact that he's getting a $7 million investment, and that's a pretty good investment for a basketball team, because if you think about it, you only need 10 guys. That's so, and it's not like each of them are going to get $1 million each. Like the math is different compared to football. Obviously, football you need 20 plus 25 million. Arkansas, as I do a quick Google search, Arkansas spent the most in NIL last year, and I believe it was $5 million ish, 5, 6, 7 million, which is going to go up. But you think about that. So if you're Virginia, they're going to be attacked. Like the roster can be completely different. I feel the same way about Virginia Tech. And same thing for NC State. Like this is good for the ACC. I think that is my biggest takeaway. It is good that Will Wade and Ryan Odom are in the ACC, because they easily could be in an SEC school, or Ryan Odom easily could be at Villanova. And Villanova is a really good job. They've won national championship, arguably the most successful program since 2000.
I mean, the Big East overall is just a good basketball conference.
Which we could talk about this dumb Big East ACC merger, which I kind of like, kind of don't like, that Rick Pitino and others have talked about since the tournament started. But the ACC is historically down. I mean, they have Duke. They luckily have the best team in the country propping them up. And I thought more of Clemson and Louisville, but Louisville to a lesser degree, Louisville at least, but neither of them showed up in the first half in their games.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, that was awful. That was a terrible performance. Luckily, Carolina at least got the, win in the first 4.
Yeah.
This is good for the ACC. This is good for Virginia. And if you're Virginia, you need to feel really good about this hire if you're a Virginia fan, because you got your guy you wanted. You got your top choice all along. And that means that shows to me, all right, and that reporting shows you're invested in basketball. And you are proving that you're invested in football. Now, I don't know if it'll work out because I don't know about Tony Elliott. But Ryan Odom is a good basketball coach.
Yeah.
Like, he's a good, in my opinion, pick a winner. Like, if you win everywhere, which he's done, he's won at UMBC, he won at Utah State, he won at VCU. The Mountain West and the A10 specifically, and I mean, the American East is a really good low major. Like, look at Vermont, Valparaiso is in that conference. Like, there are good programs in the American East, and he won that. That's a good, really good low major. You could argue the 2 best mid-majors are the Mountain West and the A10, because I don't count the Big East. Like, the 2 best mid-major conferences are the Mountain West and the A10.
Yeah.
Legitimate argument. And he won both of those. And now he's going to go win at Virginia. And and getting a guy like Griff Aldridge, who's won a lot at Longwood as your associate, I think we're going to see more of this. Kind of the Chip. This is a bad comparison because Griff Aldridge doesn't have the cachet that Chip Kelly does, but it's like Chip Kelly. So we got to take a break. It is 7:52. When we come back, we're going to do a quick Today in Sports History. Can Ty keep his winning ways in that? We'll find out next here on the Morning Warm-Up.
We are making it happen at the Used Car Superstore of the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier used car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for over 50 years. With the best selection, value, finance options, and exceptional service. Plus 900 pre-owned vehicles all in one location. Volume selling means volume pricing, and we've got the volume. The Used Car Superstore is your one-stop for most makes and models. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, many have miles in the teens, remaining factory warranties, and some are even one-owner vehicles. Plus, Sheeler owns the finance company. Getting approved for credit is easy on the Motor Mile, with finance options for every budget. 900 used vehicles in stock now. More than any other dealer in the area. Hurry in for straightforward pricing and more inventory arriving daily. Why wait? Make it happen at the Used Car Superstore on the Sheeler Motor Mile, your premier family-owned car dealer serving Southwest Virginia and surrounding areas for 50 years. I-81 exit 118C in Christiansburg. Call 866-SHEELER-1. Always open at Sheeler.com.
The Black Pros, Mount Joy, Government Mule, JJ Gray and Mofro. Need us to continue? Paul Coffin, the California Honey Drop, Larkin Poe. And that's just a handful of acts performing at Floyd Fest 25 Aurora, July 23rd through 27th at Festival Park in Floyd. Ticket prices increase April 1st. Get your tickets now at floydfest.com. Winner of the Best Music Festival, even more acts to be announced soon for Floyd Fest 25 Aurora. Get your tickets now at floydfest.com before prices increase April 1st.
When you're voted one of the best plumbers according to Lynchburg Living magazine, you want to hire the best. Sullivan Plumbing wants the best plumbers to join our award-winning team. Do you have a clean driving record? Do you have at least 4 years plumbing experience? Then you're a five-star voter, and Sullivan Plumbing would love to meet with you. Take the first step. Call Sullivan Plumbing in downtown Lynchburg or email sullivanplumbing@gmail.com.
Guests are great, except unwanted guests. At Specialty Exterminating, we know the difference. Hi, I'm Sabrina Kennan with Specialty Exterminating. We help you keep unwanted pests out of your home. Now we can keep those reptiles away. Our new reptile repellent is the perfect add-on for your pest prevention service. It's medically safe, so it's perfect for any homeowner, especially homeowners in homes in wooded and rural. Call us so we can repel the reptiles. Specialty Exterminating, your pest prevention partner since 1979.
Did my argument make sense?
When the thrill of playing ball is the agony of a broken windshield,
Sometimes I feel like
contact
it makes sense.
your local auto glass repair shop on Allegheny Avenue in Lynchburg. Double Auto Glass provide a professional assessment with the honesty of your neighbors, so you can get back to your great moments this season.
Good morning. We are just getting your day started here on VTRN Sports with the morning warm-up. Stay connected at Trey Lyle VT and Ty Tracy 90 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Listen wherever you are with the VTRN Sports app or watch the show live on YouTube at youtube.com/VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, back to the morning warm-up.
7:55. We went a little long in that second segment, so we're going to do it quick. Today in sports history is 7:55, almost 7:56 on this Monday, March 24th. Trey Lyle, Ty Tracy, star running back for the New York Giants. Just kidding, the other one. But we're going to do today in sports history, and can Ty keep up his winning ways?
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
It's time for Today in Sports History.
Seconds left in the game. You believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
They go length of the court with Archidiakono. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Let's hear what Ty really knows about what happened on this day in sports history.
Whew. All right, Ty, you are 13-6. You are doing way better than Philip. 3-4. All right. If you know a little bit about ACC history and where this guy went to school, then I think you're going to get this. Actually, I'll give you the easier part of this. NC State ends this school's streak of 7 national championships with an 80-77 victory in double overtime of the NCAA tournament semifinals. David Thompson led the Wolfpack with 28-10, while his teammate Tom Burleson scored 20 and pulled down 14 boards. What school did they beat?
It was an ACC school, you said?
No, NC State beat the school. Hint. They won 7 straight national championships. Yes. Any for people out there, anytime there's like between like the 1960s and the 1980s, and they won a bunch of college basketball games, just guess UCLA. Yeah. You're more likely to get it. All right. Staying in college basketball, this school with a 28-62 victory over Kansas State capped a stunning run through the bracket-busting South Regional. They became tied the lowest seed ever to make the Final Four, joining LSU, George Mason, and VCU. This was this was the same region that Virginia got knocked off in the opening weekend to the 16th seed. What school was it? So this is the team that made the Final Four in 2019.
2018?
19. They had this like very old woman as their mascot, as their like.
Oh my God, what's that thing? Man, I remember too. Oh, I forgot the name of that school. You got to give me on that one.
Loyola Chicago.
Yeah, that's what I said. I remember it was the old. She was like the
Sister Jean.
Yes, that's who it was.
All right.
I remember seeing that. I was like, dang, what's that school called?
Yeah, I had them winning. I had them in the Sweet 16. I was like, felt really smart about it. All right. This man is celebrating a birthday today. He's turning 49 years old. Would you rather me give you his stats or his accomplishments? His accomplishments might be easier.
Accomplishments.
All right. He's a 14-time Pro Bowler, 7-time All-Pro. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. He's a 5-time MVP. He is a Super Bowl MVP. He was on the All-2000s team. He's a 2-time AP Offensive Player of the Year. He's a Ultimate Man of the Year, I believe, winner.
Can I get a position? Guess a position?
If I give you the position, you'll know who it is.
Come on now.
It's quarterback.
Oh, Tom Brady. I ain't Payman. My bad. Payman, my bad.
I was about to say you were going to be mad at yourself.
My bad. I meant to pay.
I'll give it to you.
Payman, my bad.
It is happy birthday this year. That was so sorry about that little technical issue there, but yes, it was the Sheriff Peyton Manning celebrating his 49th birthday today on VCRN Sports 93.3 FM W227BG Timberlake and 1320 AM WBGM Lynchburg. That'll do it for the morning warm up today. Fun shows packed throughout the week. We'll talk more about the NCAA tournament. We'll talk more about Ryan Odom to UVA. Plus, we'll talk a little NASCAR. We'll talk to Lake Lewis tomorrow as well. So you're listening to the morning warm up. Thanks so much now to Beeson by the book.
Coming out to breakfast.
He's probably still asleep. No, he's
not.
Body clock.
What is your sleep? What are you going to do tonight? Are you going to watch games here?
Oh, you almost got it. I should let you